Man, first of all, let me get some thoughts off the top of my head. One, the Knicks suck. No way the triangle is going to work in New York. No way Carmelo is going to pass the ball. And no way the Knicks make the playoffs with this current team. I'm sorry, Robert Williams. Very, very sorry. To make it even worse, my Lakers suck even harder. It would be better for them, honestly, if Kobe didn't play that season. And I will come back to that later. Thirdly, fuck the Warriors, fuck the Cavaliers, fuck the Rockets, fuck the Wizards, and fuck the Raptors. What about them Grizzlies? Why does no one talk about them? Because they're boring, like the Spurs supposedly? Or is it something different? Why do we not like teams that play team basketball? Why? Because they don't have a star player? Because they have multiple good players? They are first in the NBA. Just keep that in between your ears. At this point, they are the best NBA team there is. And I'm in no way saying that this will stay the rest of the season like this. But right now, they should get their respects. They should get their due. Then we have the sad news. Chris Bosh is no more. I can stop posting those pictures. I can stop having fun at Chris Bosh. I can stop trolling him because he's out of the top 10 in MVP voting. Um, Such a shame. But he'll be back, Leon. He'll be back. The surprise team so far. Just taking a look at the standings, and I saw a few surprises. I saw about six surprises. Firstly, I saw Denver, which surprised me. I expected them to be between the top 6 to 8 candidate in the West, but they disappointed so far. I think they won a total of let me see, they won 2 games, lost 6. I mean, with the team they have, you can't be losing these games. I mean, they have one of the deepest teams there is, to be honest. They don't have stars. Yeah, they might have Lawson, who is a star, but they have the deepest team there is. I mean, they have a rotation where they can use Danilo Gallinari as the first small forward, Wilson Chandler as the second small forward, who can start on like most teams in the NBA. And this is not the only position where they have that. I don't know what the problem is there, but I hope they fix it very soon. Other than that, I'm very surprised by Utah's good start. I expected them to be the bottom feeder in the West, but they're doing a little bit better. Sacramento definitely. I saw them as a top 10 seed, and yeah, currently they're at 600%, so 60% win. So I mean, they're doing pretty good. And lastly, obviously, the Memphis Grizzlies, but I'm not gonna go into that even more. And in the East, we have two surprises. First of all, New York, who sucked really badly. And secondly, Milwaukee, who's quietly doing pretty good under Jason Kidd. I mean, they're in the playoffs at this point. They've had some good games. Brandon Knight's playing fantastic so far. And I want to see more of them, I want to see more. Then we go to the request that we had from our group NBA Nederland. They requested me to do a little piece on, or give my thoughts on the comeback kids, the players that were out for a long time last year, or this year even, and are coming back to play. We have four important players, well, actually five, that I want to discuss. First of all, this week, Bradley Beal will return to the lineup in Washington. I mean, just imagine that. Washington is already at 7-2, second in the Eastern Conference, and they're getting their second best player back. I mean, that's going to be interesting to watch. Um, and the four other guys who have already returned in Kobe Bryant, Derrick Rose, Rajon Rondo, and Danilo Gallinari. I'll start with my thoughts on Gallinari. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I liked his versatility, but I never thought he was a special player. The type of contract Denver gave him was way over the top. Shouldn't have paid him that, and that's why they're still working on this kid. Because I'm going to be honest, if he was just an ordinary player making 5 million or 4 million or whatever, got injured for a year, nobody would care about him. The only reason he's everybody's talking about his return is because he's getting paid that much money. I think this year you can see it in his play. I mean, he's rusty. He's playing on a bad team. Like I said, lots and lots of good players in his position. Because of the money, he will get his time to get back into shape. But I don't expect him to be a difference maker for Denver this year. I don't expect that. I mean, I think the only really good player they have that is supposed to make a lot of money is Cy Lawson. We could live up to that, but at this point, he's just a hustle player. So yeah, Gallinari, I'd be surprised if he scores over 13 points this season. I mean, I'm sorry, Gallo. Then we'll go to Rajon Rondo, the guy that surprised me. I'm going to be honest. I thought, him going down with knee injuries, yeah, he's going to go out a little bit. But the dude is balling. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest. He's balling. He's almost scoring a triple double, and he's single-handedly keeping the Celtics in the race so far. I mean, I thought the Celtics were going to be, yeah, probably the 14, 15 team in the East, but they're quietly doing pretty good so far. I mean, I don't know if they can keep this up, but so far they've impressed me. And I'm going to say this. If the Celtics somehow, with this team, make the playoffs as a 6 to 7 seed, I'm giving my MVP to Rajon Rondo. I mean, without that dude, it's just a bunch of scrubs. I mean, name one good player on that team. Really good player. I mean, Jeff Green, really? Jared Sullinger, really? Kelly Olynyk, really? I mean, just find one good guy on that team, not named Rajon Rondo. So don't tell me this stuff didn't start with him. Derrick Rose. Um, yeah, I think my predictions are coming true. I mean, I liked Rose when he was healthy. Um, yeah, I've seen that he's been a bit rusty in the games that he's played. At this point, he isn't even the third best player on his own team because the breakout of Jimmy Butler, Gasol, the addition of Gasol, who's playing. Damn, he's playing really good. As a Lakers fan, I got to give it to him. He's playing really really good. And obviously they have the second. They have like what's his name? They have Joakim Noah, who isn't playing that well. So I think he's not even in the top three in his own team on his own team. So that's already something that should make you wonder because a guy making 15, 20 million has to be either a top one or a top two player. Rose hasn't been that. Okay, it might be the injuries. I mean, he hasn't played in a while. But the thing that concerns me even more is the fact that he already missed games, that's one. He's getting injured, and those injuries have nothing to do with the knees. His first injury was it. I'm really becoming scared that this guy is made out of glass. I mean, will he ever play a full season? What do you think? I mean, I'm curious, man. Let me know. And as last, Kobe Bryant, man. I was looking back in his group for a post that I made about 3 months ago, asking what these members expected from Kobe Bryant, and I think most people burned me hard for the fact that I said that he was going to go back to the same level. I know I had this discussion with Leon, and he burned me for that. But guess who's back at the same level? It's Mr. Kobe Bryant. And you know why that happens is because this guy works so hard. I mean, he has a goal in his head, and he just works so hard towards it that there's no other option. At the same time, that's the problem the Lakers have right now because I've watched all game. We have no go-to scorers. I mean, our second best go-to scorer is probably Jeremy Lin, and our third best go-to scorer is probably Carlos Boozer. Enough said. So that being the problem, um, Kobe does stuff with that. I mean, you see in the most of the beginning of the game that he's like really passive, wants to get his guys involved. But there comes the problem. If these guys cannot make shots, and I'm going to be honest, the best offensive player for us this season, not named Kobe Bryant, has been Jordan Hill. That says enough also. So if these guys do not get going, what is Kobe going to do? he's going to shoot because he wants to win the game. He wants to have a chance to win the game, and that's where the bad percentages come from. And it just seems that the more his teammates miss, the more Bryant starts shooting, the more tough shots he starts taking, the more he starts missing. And yes, 38% is low. Yes, 38% suggests that he's a ball hog, suggests that he likes to chuck up shots, and that's true at this point. But who do you want to take? Who do you want taking the shot then? Carlos Boozer? Jordan Hill? Jeremy Lin? Really? I'd rather have Kobe taking 40 shots and those guys taking 40 shots. I'm going to be honest about that. I think that's what Kobe thinks. And the second thing is, he just came back. I mean, he hasn't played for a whole year. Dude is 36, came back from horrible injuries. So give him some time. I mean, you see he's still rusty in certain ways. So I'm going to be honest. Even I, as an optimist, probably did not expect this. I mean, the dude is just balling. We'll talk later about the other comeback kids in Beal, Durant, Westbrook when they return.